Okay, so this is another book of mine that I'm going to go ahead and share with you today. It's one of my favorite books that I had through grad school. It really helped with a couple of paintings of mine just when I needed certain inspiration. Chris's work is always like really exciting to me because his use of like material and the way that he addresses the surface and stuff. It's really, he's a really phenomenal painter. He's a really phenomenal painter from the UK. He actually, I think he lives in Trinidad now. Last time that I heard, he kind of lives and works in Trinidad, but obviously spends a good amount of time in New York as well, as artists typically do, because that's where their work is often shown. But I like this book because it really just jumps right into showing you some detail images. Obviously, there are some acknowledgments in a foreword that's written up about Chris and about his work and things like that. So these detail images are really, they just kind of pull you right in. I love this one. It's blue. And then it starts to show you some of the full images of his work, starting off with some of the elephant dung paintings that he got really well known for early on in his career. He traveled to Africa at one point and collected these little balls of elephant poop and ended up bringing them back to his studio. Apparently, from what I read, like he went on a safari with like a safari guide and stuff and didn't see many elephants because of a drought that was going on in Africa at the time. And it just decided that the poop was enough to spark inspiration. And he took him back to his studio in the UK and decided to, use him with his paintings. And he uses like all different types of materials and resins and stuff to make all this stuff stay on the surface. There's some collage elements. Obviously, he's using images of other folks' faces and things like that. And I can't remember what these little dots are, but I guess it's paint. To be completely honest, I don't know all of the materials that he uses. And I kind of like that. I just like that there's some ambiguity to it. Ambiguity, that's a cool word. And I try to get that in my work, I guess, when I set out to make a painting or a drawing or anything like that. I want to, make it visually appealing, but also, make you want to kind of think about, well, why was it done this way? Well, what does that shape look like? Or what are these folks doing? And what are these legs? They kind of look like butterflies. I don't know. It's just, it kind of keeps you engaged with the work a little bit longer than just like, oh, okay, cool. That's a cool painting. Let me move on to the next one. These portraits that he kind of explored really, I think, helped to solidify like one of his ways of working and everything with all those materials. This one got a lot of acclaim or notoriety or whatever when it was vandalized once. It was basically that's a painting of the Virgin Mary that Chris did at one point, but he used like cutouts of like pornographic images and stuff like that surrounding the Virgin Mary. And apparently, even Rudy Giuliani kind of talked down on the painting and stuff like that and said that he didn't really like it too much. And there was somebody that was, in my opinion, more of an extremist, went into the museum and spread that white paint straight onto the painting. It's been restored since. Somehow they were able to, clean it up and put it back on view. But I will say anytime it's on view nowadays, from what I've heard, there is always a guard right next to it. So there's that. This one's called No Woman, No Cry, I think. And he was referencing the pain that a mother felt when her son was killed. In this case, her son was Stephen Lawrence, who was killed as a result of a hate crime while sitting at a bus stop somewhere in the UK. So Chris does, he touches on contemporary elements of life and society and stuff like that, But I feel like there's a lot of just real personal integrity in his work that I find really admirable. And I like that he keeps on exploring different ways to not only, push his technical skills and explorations with mediums and, using elephant shit. Like, who thinks, oh, I'm going to put elephant shit on my paintings and people are going to love it. These paintings I didn't get into that much. I mean, they get a little repetitive for me, but like I said, I think they were good for him to explore his material usage and stuff like that. But I feel like at a certain point in time, like he even maybe got a little, I don't know, maybe tired of doing that with those mediums and stuff like that, because sometimes, oh look, he did this one. He did a Union Jack flag, kind of like the David Hammond's flag. He called it the Union Black. So that's cool. This was during the Venice Biennial, which is an art event that takes place in Venice, where different countries get to send an artist or a group of artists to kind of represent the country and create an installation of works or, whatever it is that they do to just show what contemporary works are being made, from those different countries and stuff. So that's where these all came from. He actually worked with an architect named David Adjaye on this project. So good little collaboration between a couple different artists in different sectors of art there. It's always exciting to see when things like that are pulled off successfully. But what I was saying about Chris kind of getting to a certain point where he moved away from some of the traditional things he was doing with the elephant dung and with the dots and everything. He started to kind of really, in my opinion, subdue the surface somewhat, down to, I guess, for lack of a better word, flatten things out and move away from all of the visual textures that were really, saturating the work before these works, where this part of the book kind of starts to get into. These blue paintings were really inspiring for me at a certain point in time, because I think blue is just such a valuable color to the whole spectrum, the whole Roy Biv spectrum. Blue has a lot of depth and a lot of versatility, and I think he really executed a wide range of how to use blue throughout these works. And it's definitely inspiring. Obviously, he did some sculptures too. I think at a certain point, every painter kind of thinks or considers where sculpture might fit in their painterly hand, and it's always fun to explore. And it's really interesting as this book kind of goes on. You get to see how this transition away from how he was doing and addressing the surface before, he starts to do that in a similar way, but with this more flattened out technique. And it just, exudes a lot of the same beauty that he possessed in the earlier works. Maybe a little bit less visual textures for those that really like, a lot of things to look at. But when you can really appreciate the scale and the compositions that he's able to come up with, and the color combinations and juxtaposing certain colors and certain mark making with his brush and certain things like that, you really see that he found a way to kind of push past himself and still explore and engage with, who he might be internally. We even see these, sculptures kind of getting a little bit more intricate and a little bit more involved, I guess you can say. And then back here in the back of the book, it starts to talk about, some of his older work. He used some of that elephant dung and set up a little shop, so to speak, along the street to just sell the elephant dung. Kind of similar to the way David Hammond's did the ice cream. Or not ice cream. I don't know why I said ice cream. Apparently we know what I want for dinner. But very similar to the way David Hammond's set up and sold snowballs one day, he he went and got the elephant dung and just sat there and sold little balls of elephant dung. I know David Hammond sold out of the snowballs that he sold, which ended up melting. I'm not sure if Chris sold out of the elephant dung balls, which I'm sure he probably did, because who wouldn't buy a ball of elephant dung if you saw somebody selling it at a market? I mean, why not? They get a lot of information back here of all of the works and his chronological, career or whatever, from England to Trinidad to today. Well, when this book was made anyways. And it kind of wraps up by just giving you an index of the works and some details on the materials and stuff like that, a few acknowledgments. And then the last little detail shot, one more detail shot, which is very generous, So, yeah, it's a book I flip through often, still to this day. I try to take care of it, and it's super nice. I love to just, revisit it whenever I feel like I need the inspiration. I'm pretty sure you can see some threads of this style of work in my work, as I try to push past my art crushes, if you will, But that's Chris Ofili. There's some links below so you can kind of see a little bit more of his work and just kind of explore similar artists that work in his style, or maybe from where he's at. Check out Peter Doig too. His works are very phenomenal, and you might even be able to see the threads between the two. But yeah, I appreciate you checking out these videos. I appreciate you coming back for this one. Definitely going to be making more of these and everything. So please let me know if there's certain books you want me to do. And if you have one that you want me to review and go over, I'd love to receive new books. So please send them my way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Just real quick, if you're still got the video going, I might as well go ahead and show you a couple of works, well, a few works that I have on view in a digital show right now through the Blue Star Art Center, which is down in San Antonio. Blue Star Contemporary Art Center does it's annual, it's a fundraiser called Red Dot, and it's basically where they split profits with any artist who decides to be involved. 50-50. So these works are available for purchase through their website. Half of the money will go to the art center, which puts on some really great programming down in San Antonio, and then the other half will come back into my studio, which will allow me to continue to make paintings and drawings and works of all sorts. So if you are an art collector or an aspiring art collector, be sure to check out their Red Dot sale. It's going on right now. Beyond my work, there's a lot of other stuff available.